Hello students, boys and girls. I welcome you all on to this grade 10 chemistry flight. I'm your pilot Usha Mangipudi. So during this journey you will be going through various destinations of chemical reactions and equations, acids, bases and salts, metals and non-metals, carbon and its compounds, and also periodic classification of elements. And of course, the final destination is going to be your board exams next year. So on this flight, you will also be served with a number of MCQs, sample papers, practice tests, and also notes in the form of questions and answers. You'll also get to see a few videos wherever applicable, and you will be enjoying those videos and learning better. Now, those students who were always scared of the subject chemistry, had a fear for chemistry, I assure you all that by the end of this, you will love chemistry. So, are you all ready? So, fasten your seat belts as the flight is ready to take off. Let's begin with the basics of physical change and chemical change. Now you would be wondering as to why these basics, because we have already studied, you already know about them. But then this is the basics for this chapter of chemical reactions and equations. Okay, so we'll begin with the basics of what is a physical change and what is a chemical change. So physical change is whenever two or more substances combine, but there is no change in the molecular composition of the substances. And it is a very temporary change. It is a very temporary change. Okay. So it is a physical change. And then there is only probably change in the physical characteristics such as size or shape, but no major changes would be there. So physical changes where there is no change in the, no rearrangement of the molecules is being rearranged, or there is no change in the molecular composition. So it's a physical change. For example, melting of ice is a physical change. Now, suppose the ice has melted. I want back the from the water, I want the ice back. What do? I'll put the water in the freezer. So I get back the ice. Similarly, boiling of water is a physical change, because if the steam is condensed, we can get back all the water. Then mixing sand with water, you can always get back the water and sand. So you have already done about the separation methods in grade 9. Yes, physical separation methods, all the physical methods. So we can get back the original substances in a physical change. Then shredding of paper. So tearing of paper is a physical change. For example, I am cleaning my desk. So I start throwing away all the trash. But suddenly I realize that one of the important documents I've torn. So what do? I'll quickly search for all the pieces of that document from the trash and then take them out and neatly paste them so that I can get back my document. So it's a physical change. Then chopping of wood is a physical change. Separating of red and green marbles is a physical change. So all these are physical changes which are temporary changes. Now let's see what's a chemical change. A chemical change is where substances they combine, but there is a change in the molecular composition of the substances. Because there is a change in the molecular composition, it is a permanent change. We cannot get back the original substances after a chemical change. And now this chemical change is always accompanied by either absorption of energy or release of energy in some form. It may be heat energy, light energy, chemical energy, any form of energy. Okay, example, burning of wood is a chemical change. So we get the ashes. From the ashes, I cannot get back the wood. Then metabolism inside the organisms is a chemical change. Cooking of an egg. So suppose I boiled the egg. Now from that boiled egg, if I want the raw egg back, will I get it? No, it's not possible. Then rotting of banana is a chemical change. Vinegar and baking soda mixture. This experiment you've done several times, maybe either in your classrooms or in exhibitions, you know. So you have seen that the vinegar and baking soda which is being used for the experiment, you cannot get it back. You have to use every time new material. Then fireworks, a very good example. During Diwali, we all love to light fireworks. Yes, although these days or these few years, from a few years, we are celebrating Green Diwali and we say no crackers and all. But then we are talking about the flower pots and the sparklers. So what happens is when we light them, we enjoy and all. But then if I want that to have that flower pot and reuse it next Diwali, is it possible? No, because a chemical change has taken place. So these are all chemical changes. Now let's come to the first part of the chapter, which is chemical reactions and equations. So what is a chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is the transformation of a chemical substance into new chemical substance. So one substance is changing into new substance. So that is the transformation over there. So the transformation of a chemical substance into a new chemical or another chemical substance. Of course, it is new chemical substance because it is not the old one we are talking about. It's the new chemical substance. Example, combustion is burning. Burning of any fuel is combustion. Rusting of things is again a chemical change. Then digestion of food in the body is a very important chemical change. Photosynthesis, you all are aware of this, which takes place in plants, is a chemical change. In batteries, there are chemicals and they react and they give out chemical energy. So they are using up those chemicals. So it's a chemical change. Fermentation is a chemical change. Then soap, which we use for washing hands and all, is a chemical. Then baking, all bakery products, they're all chemical changes because we cannot get back the original ingredients once the product has been formed or once we have got the baked product. So this is a chemical reaction, a transformation of a chemical substance into new chemical substances. Now let us see the second part of the chapter, which is chemical equations. So what is a chemical equation? Chemical equation is a symbolic representation of a chemical reaction. Using what? Using their symbols, using their formulae and the states of the substances in which they are reacting, whether they are reacting in a solid state or a liquid state or the gaseous state. So a chemical or a symbolic representation of a chemical reaction using symbols, formulae and the states in which they are reacting is known as a chemical equation. For example, A plus B gives C plus D. This is a general equation. If we take an example, sodium reacts with chlorine to give sodium chloride. So sodium is Na, chlorine is Cl2, sodium chloride NaCl. So now this is a chemical, this becomes a chemical equation. Okay. So what have we done? We have converted, we have changed the chemical reaction into a chemical equation using their symbols, formulae, and of course you can also give the states. This is solid, this is in the gaseous state, and we get the solid. Okay. Similarly, copper plus sulfur gives copper sulfide. Copper is Cu, sulfur is S symbol, copper sulfide is CuS. So this again is a chemical equation. So we are representing the chemical reaction using symbols, formulae and the states in which they are reacting. So it becomes a chemical equation. Okay. Now let's see some more examples of chemical equations. Methane, this is methane, okay, reacts with oxygen. So what have we done? Methane formula is CH4, oxygen O2, and it gives carbon dioxide and water. This you are familiar with. So this is a chemical equation. Now here we have iron. Iron reacts with oxygen to give iron oxide. So this reaction is again being represented by a chemical equation. Okay, iron oxide, oxygen, iron. So this is a chemical equation. Similarly, hydrogen reacts with nitrogen to give ammonia. This is again a chemical equation. So chemical equation is where we are using symbols, formulae and the states in which they are reacting to represent a chemical reaction. Got it now? Clear? Yes. Now, let us see what are the parts of a chemical equation. Now, you should be familiar with these parts because we are going to use these terms more often and you should be using them now. Every chemical equation will have three parts: reactants, an arrow mark, and products. Okay, so let us see this very common equation, very familiar equation of photosynthesis. So this is carbon dioxide reacts with water in the presence of course, chlorophyll and sunlight to give glucose and oxygen. Okay. Okay. So now carbon dioxide and water are combining, are reacting, of course in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. So they are the reactants. They are called as the reactants, substances which are reacting, which are combining in a chemical equation are known as the reactants. Okay, and they are on the left hand side of the arrow mark. This is the arrow mark. The arrow mark indicates the yield. Yield also means gives. Okay, and if you see the arrow mark is pointing towards the products. That means the reactants or the substances combining or reacting are giving, are producing, and it is showing what they are producing. So the arrow mark indicates the yield or gives, and then it is giving the products. So here glucose and oxygen are being produced after the reaction. They are given out after the reaction. So they are known as the products, and they are to the right hand side of the arrow mark. The arrow mark, left hand side and the right hand side, left hand side and the right hand side. Okay, so left hand side of the arrow mark are the reactants and right hand side of the arrow mark are the products, and the arrow mark indicates yields or gives in a chemical equation. Now if you see these numbers in front of the formulae or the reactants or the products, they indicate the number of molecules. Now do not worry about these because you will be learning about them as we do the topic of balancing of chemical equations. Okay, so they indicate the number of molecules of the substance reacting. So here 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, they are reacting, they are the reactants, they react and they give glucose, 1 molecule, 1 does not have to be written as 1, and 6 molecules of what? Oxygen. Okay. Now if you see this small subscripts, so if I write CO2, now this 2 is the number of atoms of oxygen. H2O, this 2 indicates number of atoms of hydrogen. Now this is already there in the formula. We cannot change the formula. These numbers will not be changed. although number of molecules, as I told you, we'll be learning in balancing of equations, that can be changed, but the formula cannot be changed. Okay, so these are the parts of the equation. So every chemical equation will have reactants on the left hand side of the arrow mark, products on the right hand side of the arrow mark, and the arrow mark is indicating the formation of the products, or gives, it indicates yields, gives. Okay, so these are the parts of the chemical equation. Now let's see one more equation. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to give magnesium oxide. Okay, so magnesium is Mg plus oxygen O2 represented by the formula, and magnesium oxide is the product formed. So magnesium and oxygen are the reactants. Magnesium and oxygen are the reactants, and they are on the left hand side of the arrow mark, and magnesium oxide is the product and it is on the right hand side of the arrow mark. Okay, and this is on the left hand side, and this 2 of course indicates the number of molecules of magnesium. Okay, so this is how a chemical equation is written using the symbols, formulae, and the states in which the substances are reacting. Here magnesium is solid, oxygen in the gaseous form, magnesium oxide we get in the solid form. Okay, now this 2 is known as the coefficient, and we will study about it when we are doing about balancing of equations. Great. Now let's see one more example. Nitrogen in the, of course, gaseous state reacts with oxygen to form nitrogen dioxide. So these two, nitrogen and oxygen, are the reactants, and they are on the left hand side of this arrow mark, which indicates gives or yields, and nitrogen dioxide is the product, and product is on the, yes, right hand side of the arrow mark. Okay, and these of course indicate the coefficient, the number of molecules. Then on the arrow mark, we also sometimes indicate in under what condition is the reaction taking place. Maybe we'll write heat, light, chlorophyll, or we may also write as a catalyst. So all the conditions under which the reaction is taking place is written on the arrow mark. Okay, on the arrow mark, either a catalyst or by heat or light. Okay, whatever is used, if there is any condition, then it is written on the arrow mark. So these are the reactants, and this side we have the products. So this is about the chemical equation. Now let us see the terms related with the chemical equation. There are three major terms. One is word equation. Word equation, as the name indicates, the chemical reaction is written in words, but it is representing the chemical equation. Okay, so if we say methane reacts with oxygen, so what are we doing? We are writing the names of the substances, but we are also using the arrow mark, we are using plus symbols, and we are writing carbon dioxide plus water. So what is happening? The chemical reaction is being represented in words, not by symbols or formulae, by words. So it's a word equation. Okay, now we come to the second term called skeletal equation. Skeletal equation is we are writing the or representing the chemical reaction using symbols, formulae, and the states in which they are reacting. So we write as H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Okay, now here H2, if we see, this is just Hydrogen reacts with oxygen to give water. This is a skeletal equation. Why do we call skeletal? So if you see here on the reactant side, left hand side, right hand side. On the reactant side, there are two hydrogens. On the product side, if I come to this equation, on the product side, there are two hydrogens. Okay. This is okay. On the reactant side, there are two oxygens. But on the product side, there is only one oxygen. So where did that one oxygen disappear? Where did that one oxygen go? Because we cannot write the product as H2O2 because this is not formed in this reaction at all. What is formed? Water is the product. H2 plus O2 gives H2O. So in order to balance the number of atoms, we have to use the coefficients and balance the equation. Okay, so without balancing, when I write an equation without balancing, it is known as a skeletal equation. It is known as an unbalanced equation. So this what we have got here is an unbalanced equation. So that is the second term. Now we come to the third term. Third is the balanced chemical equation. Okay, balanced chemical equation. Now if you see in this equation, 2H2 plus O2 giving 2H2O. So here we have 4 hydrogens plus 2 oxygens. So this is the left hand side of the equation, the reactants. On the product side, how many do we have? 4 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. So both hydrogens and oxygens on both the sides, the number of atoms of hydrogen on the reactant side and the product side is balanced. The number of oxygen atoms on the reactant side and the product side is again balanced. So we call this as a balanced chemical equation. So please don't worry about this because we are going to do a complete topic of balancing of chemical equations and enough practice will be given to you all so that you can balance the equations. Okay. So this is a balanced chemical equation. We are also going to learn why is balancing required. Why can't I leave it as a skeletal equation? But balancing is required because of law of conservation of mass, which you are going to do in the next topic. Okay. So these are the terms related. Now you should be very familiar with these terms because in the exam they may give a word equation, ask you to convert into the chemical equation and also balance it. Secondly, they may give a chemical equation, ask you to convert into word equation. So you should know the names of the substances also and the formulae also. So every time you write, students, what you should do is every time you write an equation, say it. Okay, when I'm writing, for example, I write hydrogen plus oxygen. So when I'm saying hydrogen, I'll write H2. So what am I doing? I'm saying the name, but I'm writing the formula. So it is registering twice in my brain as the name also and the formula also is being registered. Okay, hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. When I'm saying the substances, but I'm writing the formulae here. So what have I done? I have registered the name also and the formula also. Okay, so every time do that. This practice would be very good for you all because we see that students sometimes they do not know the names of substances although they know the formula. And some students they may not know the formula but they know the name. So to know both of them, the best way is when you are writing an equation, every time say the name and write the formula. Say the name, write the formula. Okay. So that's a very good tip for you all. So what did you learn? Let's see what have you all learned. So you've learned about types of changes, the physical change, which is a temporary change. There is no change in chemical composition and no new substances are formed. So we can get back the original substances by physical methods. Chemical change is a change which is a permanent change. New substances are formed when substances combine and we cannot get back the original substances. And always this is accompanied by either absorption of energy or release of energy. Then we have learnt about what is a chemical reaction. The transformation of chemical substances into another chemical substance or new chemical substances is called as chemical reactions. What is a chemical equation? Chemical equation is the representation of a chemical reaction using their symbols, formulae, and also the states in which they are reacting, that is solid or liquid or gas states. Yes, and then we have done about the terms which are associated with the chemical equation. Of course, we have also done the parts of the chemical equation, reactants, products, and in between there is the arrow mark. So left hand side are the reactants, right hand side of the arrow mark are the products. Then the terms are word equation, as the name indicates, the chemical reaction, all the names of the substances are written, so we call that as a word equation, but in an equation form. Then second one is the skeletal equation, where we convert the word equation using the symbols and formulae into a chemical equation. Then third is the balanced chemical equation, where we are balancing the number of atoms of each element on the reactant side also and on the product side. This you will be learning in detail in the next topic. Okay? Yes. So here is a self-check for whatever you've learned. So I request you all students, you must attempt this self-check assessment. So what happens is you get a lot of confidence once you answer all these questions. You say, oh yes, I can, I have understood the topic, whatever has been done. Okay, so self-check assessment you must do, and if you feel that you are unable to do, then go and revisit. Go and revisit the video, the topic, and then come back to the self-check assessment. But do not leave it. Just do it. Okay. So the tips here for you is read the chapter chemical reactions and equations from page number 1 to 3. This will give you the topic we have covered right now. And also when you're reading, what happens is you are registering it better and you know that yes, all that is there in the textbook I now understand. You will get that confidence. Okay, you may underline, you may make your sticky notes, you may make your own notes also while you're reading. So that's a very good practice. Then secondly, also go and read your grade 9, page number 32 to 33 to 38 is atoms and molecules. You have all about these symbols and formulae. Now why I'm asking you to go and do that is you will be coming across a number of writing the formulae, when word equations are given, you have to write the symbols or the formulae. So you should be very good at that, because if you write an incorrect formula, then you can never balance an equation. Okay, so you should be very good with your symbols and formulae. So please go and read that and read these pages of 33 to 38 which have all the symbols and formulae, so that you can really do very well in the upcoming topics. Okay, so this is all for now. So all the best, and I will say that you have been enjoying. Yes, you will be enjoying even more as we move on into or go along the journey, and we see the new topics coming up, and you will be learning more about the new topics. So इतना मजा क्यों आ रहा है, क्योंकि chemistry is fun. You all agree with me? Yes. So we'll have more fun as we do more topics, but for now this is the topic we have just completed, and I will see you in the next topic. Till then, this is Usha Mangipudi signing off.